Hi, welcome. Now, in today's session, we'll be tackling how to round off. So, how to round off whole numbers and also how to round off decimal numbers. Round off your answer to the nearest thousand, or rather, round off your answer to 2 decimal places. You must have seen that. There is no mathematical literacy paper, those that I have seen, that somewhere does not have or does not ask you to round off. So let's get right to it. You might realize this is the only video whereby there is no calculator. It's resting, has been working hard for the past few days. Anyways, when you look at your screen, you will realize that I have 10 digits here. Yes, including a zero. A zero is a number and it's very important with regards to rounding off. So I have 10. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now, when you make them an equal set of 2, you are going to have what I have here. So when we separate them into 2 equal parts, we are going to have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 on the first set, and the second set you are still going to have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, but they are still equal. Why? Because we still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we are still fine. Now, before I explain rounding down and rounding up, I'd like to introduce you to what I would like to call, let me write in white. I would like to call TRN. I want you to keep this in your brain. This will be the most important thing with regards to rounding off. You will never forget rounding off in your entire life. TRN. Say, yes. What does TRN mean? Well, glad you asked. Thank you. It means target. Target's right neighbor. Okay, what's target's right neighbor? I'm glad you asked again. Stick with me now that I can teach you what is target's right neighbor. So now we are saying that if whatever number you're supposed to round off, if it falls, if the right neighbor, the target's right neighbor falls within this range, you are supposed to round down, or essentially you are supposed to keep the target digit the same. But if it falls between 5 and 9, you're supposed to round up, or you're supposed to add 1 to the target digit. See, I'm starting to get confused. What is this target that you're talking about? Let me explain, right? Let me explain. Now, you have a place value table. Just keep what I just told you here in mind. You have a place value table. I know you know this. So we have the ones place, we have the tens, we have the hundreds, we have the thousands, we have the 10,000s, we have the 100,000s, we have the millions. So here we'll be rounding off to the whole number, to the nearest 10, 100,000, 10,000, 100,000, and million, like that. Now pay attention to this big value that I have here. See this big value that I have here. Why are you supposed to pay attention? Because it will explain what's happening here in the place value table. This first number, we can say that it falls under the ones. This second number, as you can tell, it's the tens. This third number, it's the hundreds. This fourth number, it's the thousands. This one, it's the 10,000s. And then this one is the 100,000s. And then this one, obviously, it's the millions. Now, this is not something that you don't know. This is not something new, something that you already know. But now I'm just trying to teach you how to use that when you are rounding off, because it's important. Now, let's say we were given 5,728,451. Such a big value. 5,728,451. I will teach you how to round off this value in all these aspects, all these 6 aspects. The first aspect says, so we are supposed to round off. Round off this value, this is the value that we are talking about here, to the nearest 10. Now, this is where the target's right neighbor comes to play. We said that we have ones, tens, 100,000, 10,000, 100,000, and millions. If they say round it off to the nearest 10, it means that the number that sits in the tens place is the target. Where is the number that sits in the tens place? Well, it's this one here. It's this one here. Hence, I wrote tens to the nearest 10. This is the target. Oh, say, now I see what you were talking about when you say this is the target. See, this is the target. Now the question is, who is the target's right neighbor? Well, you simply have to go to your right. The target's right neighbor, I'll have him in pink. This here is the target's right neighbor. This is the target's right neighbor. This is the target's right neighbor. So this number 5 is the target. Why? Because they said to the nearest 10. And then what is on the right is the target's right neighbor. Now, when we are rounding off, we are focusing on the target's right neighbor. The target's right neighbor is the one that is going to tell us what must happen to the target. Remember, this is the target. In order for us to know whether the target must remain the same, keep the target digit the same, or you must add 1 to the target digit, we must focus on the right neighbor here. What are you saying, Sam? This is what I'm saying. So we already know the target is 5. Now, whether the 5 should stay the same or the 1 should be added to the 5, let's go back to our numbers. Now, these are our numbers. This is the target. Where does the target fall? Where does the target's right neighbor fall? Well, it falls here on the round down. Why? Because it's a 1. It's a 1. It's a 1. So since it's a 1, what does it say? It says keep the target digit the same. So we are simply going to keep it the same. We are going to round down by keeping the target the same, meaning that this value is going to be, let me use a white to write. When we are rounding it off to the nearest 10, it's going to be 5,728,450. We have rounded it down, or we have kept the target the same. Okay, let's continue. The more we continue, the more you will even get even better understanding. How about rounding off to the nearest 100? Which value is in the hundreds here? Well, the value that is in the hundreds, let me use a green for this. It's this one. Now, this one becomes the target. So now I'll just denote it as a T. So this is the target. Since this is a target, who is the target's right neighbor? Well, the target's right neighbor has now become the 5. So now I'll say target's right neighbor is the 5. Now, in order for us to know what has to happen to the target, we must focus on the target's right neighbor. So let's look at the target's right neighbor. Target's right neighbor is a 5. Where does it fall? Does it fall under round down or round up? Well, since it's a 5, it falls under round up, meaning that we have to add 1 to the target digit. This is the target digit. We must add 1. So that means that our answer here, it's supposed to be 5,728,000. We add a 1 here. We said we should add 1 here. It's going to become 500. You have rounded it off to the nearest 100. Now, let's go to this one. Nearest 1,000. Let me use a ping for the nearest 1,000. I know I've used it, but let's use it again. So, nearest 1,000. Who is the target? It's the number, or it's the value, or it's the digit that is in the thousands. It's this here. This one is the target. Like I said, I'll just use a T. This one is the target. Since this one is the target, who is the target's right neighbor? The target's right neighbor is the 4, right here. So let's ask ourselves, target's right neighbor, does it fall under round down or does it fall under round up? Well, it's a fall. Here, it falls under round down. What does round down say? It says keep the target digit the same. So the 8 must stay the same, meaning that we are going to have 5,000, 5 million, sorry about that, 728 stays the same, 1,000. See? Let's go to the 10,000s. I may use a gold. You know, I love my gold. Not the actual gold. I have not such, but the gold color. Yes. Now, to the nearest 10,000, who is our target? That's the first thing you should always ask yourself when you're rounding off. Who is the target? The target is the number that sits in the 10,000 place. And it's this one here. It's the number 2. Number 2 is the target. Since number 2 is the target, who is the target's right neighbor? Just go to your right. It's number 8. Number 8 is what we can say target's right neighbor. Now, what are we supposed to do? Let's go back to our 2 sets. Does an 8 fall in the round down? No, it falls in the round up. What does round up say? It says you have to add 1 to the target digit. Who is the target digit? It's 2. So we must add what? 1. What will it become? 3. Meaning that we are going to have 5,730,000. We added a 1. Now let's go back to the 100,000. It's still the same thing. Again, by now you can pause and just try and give it a go. By now you can pause and just try to give it a go. So now let's see. Who is the target? The target is the number that sits on the 100,000. Which number is that? Let me use what is it? Is this a purple? It's 7. 7 is the target. 7 is the target. Who is the target's right neighbor? The target's right neighbor is number 2. This is the target's right neighbor. Where does the target's right neighbor fall? Does it fall round down or round up? Yes, it falls round down because it's a what? It's a 2. So what does it say? Keep the target digit the same. We are supposed to keep that 7 the same, meaning we are going to have something like 5,700,000 because we are supposed to keep it the same. Let's go to the last one. Let me use a rate for this one. To the nearest million. Round off this value to the nearest million. Who is the target? It's the number that sits in the millions. It's this 5 here. It sits in the millions. Who is the target's right neighbor? It's this one. Okay, this one is the target. And this 7 is the target's right neighbor. Where does the target's right neighbor fall? Round down or round up? Well, it falls under round up because it's a 7. What does round up says? It says you have to add 1 to the target. So we have to add 1 to 5 to become 6. Meaning if we're supposed to round off this value to the nearest million, it was going to be 6 million. So that's how you do it when you're rounding off to the whole number. Now how about this? How about I give you, so you will pause the video. So just right here. Okay, I think I need to buy some real estate here. I think I honestly need to buy some real estate here. Let's do that. Yes, more real estate, more real estate. Thank you. Now, let's do this. Right here, I'm going to give you a number, a very big number. Let me say it's going to be 2,394,562. Round this value to the nearest million, nearest 100,000, nearest 10,000, nearest 1,000, nearest 100, and nearest 10. Just pause the video and try to round it off. And then I will give you the answers right here. So you have paused the video by now, and when you're coming back, you will get the answers. So I'll simply write the answers in here. So to the nearest 10, starting with the nearest 10. To the nearest 10, it's going to become, remember, first target. This one stays in the tens. Who is the right neighbor? It's this one. Because it falls under round down, we are supposed to keep this the same. So it's going to be 2,394,560. This is to the nearest 10. Now, to the nearest 100, who is the target? Obviously, this is the target. Who is the right neighbor? It's this one. What does it say? It falls on round up, meaning we must add 1. So it's going to be 2,394,600, because it said we must add 1, 600. And this was to the nearest 100. Yes, hundreds. Now, to the nearest 1,000, who is the target? It's this guy here. Who is the right neighbor? It's this guy here. What does the right neighbor say? It falls under round up. It says we must add 1 here. So it's going to be 2,395,000. This was to the nearest thousands. Now to the nearest 10,000, who is the target? It's this guy around right here. Who is the right neighbor? It's the 4. Does the right neighbor say we go up or down? Well, it says we go down. Down means we must just keep this value as it is, the same. So it's going to be 2,390,000. So this was to the 10,000s. Now to the nearest 100,000. Nearest 100,000. This is the target here. Who is the right neighbor? It's this 9 here. What does it say? It says we must round up. Round up means we must add 1 to the target. So it's going to be 2,400,000. 400,000. This was in the 100,000s. Now the last one, to the nearest million. Who is the target? It's this million. Who is the neighbor? It's this one. What does it say? It falls under round down, meaning that we must keep it the same. So it's going to be 2 million. Hope you got that one. This one was rounding off to the nearest million. Now, moving on, we have rounding to decimal. Now we are dealing with decimal places, right? So we have this value here, which is 20.528471. So this is the first decimal. Me use a green. This is the first decimal, second decimal, third decimal, fourth decimal, fifth decimal, sixth decimal. It still stays the same. Target, right, neighbor, still the same. What do you mean? Let me explain. Round off this value to 1 decimal place, meaning that after a decimal, this is a decimal here. After this decimal, we just need one place. So the target, who is going to be the target if we are supposed to round it to 1 place? Well, this one here, because it's 1, it's the first one. It's supposed to be the target. This is the target. Who is the right neighbor? This is the right neighbor. Where does it fall? Round down. What does round down say? Keep it the same. But now here, look at what is going to happen. It's going to be a 20.5. That's how we are keeping it the same. And you're like, but you're adding zeros when we're keeping the same. Yes, we don't have to add zeros. Like, let me show you what I mean. 20.5 and 20.500000, it's all the same. It's the same thing. After the decimal, you can add million zeros. It's still the same. There's nothing that is going to change. That's why we keep it like this. Now, let's go to the second one. So the second one, I'll use my golden color. It says round off this value to 2 decimal places. Where is our number 2? It's here. Who is the target's right neighbor? This is the right neighbor. Where does it fall? Round up. What does round up say? It says we must add 1 to the target. So we are going to add 1 to the target. So it's going to be 20.53. Now, again, we continue. Let's use a red. So, again, 3 decimal places. Who is the target? The one that sits on the 3rd decimal place. Who is the right neighbor? This is the right neighbor. What does it say? Round down. Keep it the same. So it's going to be 20.528. It stayed the same. Round off to 4 decimal places. Who is the target? The one that sits on the 4th decimal place. Who is the right neighbor? It's the 7. What does it say? It falls under round up. It says we must add 1 to the target. So since the target is 4, we are going to say 20.528.5. We have added a 1. And then the last one, it says that 5 decimal places. Again, who is the target? It's the one that sits on the 5th decimal place. Who is the right neighbor? It's this one. Where does it fall? Under round down. What does it say? Keep it the same. Keep the target the same. So it's going to be 20.52847. That is just about that. Now again, for this one, I guess I have to give you a small activity. So you are going to pause your video, and let's say we have something like this. Let's say something like this. 8. 8. This is an 8. This is an 8. This is an 8. Okay, let me not do that to you, because now you will end up saying that I can no longer see 8. Yes. So quickly pause the video, round it off. 1 decimal place, 2 decimal place, 3 decimal place, 4 decimal place, 5 decimal place. When you come back, would have done it. So to the first decimal place number 1, we are going to say it's 5.1. Why? Because this was the target and this was the right neighbor. The right neighbor said that it should remain the same. 2 decimal places, it's going to be 5.14. Why, say? Because this was the target. Who was the right neighbor? This was the right neighbor. What does the right neighbor say? You must add a 1 because it falls under round up. And then the next one, 3 decimal places, was going to be 5.138. Why, say? Why did it stay the same? Because this was the target. And since this was the target, the right neighbor was 3. Right neighbor falls under round down. It says we should keep it the same. And then to 4 decimal places, this is the 4th decimal place. This is the right neighbor. Right neighbor says we must add 1 because it falls under round up. So we are going to have 5.1384. And then to the 5th decimal place, we are going to have, 5th decimal place, this is the target. This is the right neighbor. Right neighbor says we must add 1. So it was going to be 5.13836. And that is just about that. Thank you for tuning in. Now, go practice, put even more practice on top of more practice until it's unbearable practice, and then you will know that you are on the right path. Keep walking.